Good evening, everybody. My name is Kristen Ryder. I am a 19-year veteran of the Chief Joseph Trail Ride, and I am so excited to announce to you all that we finally have dates for this year's ride. It will take place from July 20th through July 26th, and it will leave from Jackson, Montana, and will end at Leadore, Idaho. We get a lot of questions on our Facebook page. For those of you who don't know, the Facebook page for our riders is Chief Joseph Trail Riders, and you can find that through a search on Facebook. We also have a new 501c3 that has been set up. It is the Chief Joseph Trail Ride Incorporated. We do now have a website, and you can feel free to visit there, and we will have links to information on the ride, information on our fundraising, and new projects that are on the way. And you can find that at chiefjosephtrailride.org. So please see us online. Definitely, if you have any questions, you can find me and ask me directly through Facebook. My name is Kristen Ryder. It's R-E-I-T-E-R. I believe I have a little spotted Appaloosa colt as my profile picture. So might not, actually it might be my Raiden, but anyways, there'll be an Appaloosa on my profile picture. Feel free to send me a message. I'll usually just send you my phone number and we can talk. Most of us who've been on the ride are very happy to talk about our experiences, things to expect. We're very happy to have new people come on the ride with us, but we definitely want you to be prepared for when you do arrive, because we want you to have a great experience. So right now, a lot of the questions we have are more organizational. People are wondering how the ride works, essentially. It is 5 days of riding. Each day, it all depends. We are in the back country. We are riding in areas that often other people are not allowed to ride. We have to get special permissions, either through the U.S. Forestry, private ranchers, state land. It kind of depends on where we're headed. We try to follow the trail of the Nez Perce as closely as possible. Lately that's been a little bit difficult because the Nez Perce made such great trails that we turned them into roads. So, but when we get the opportunity to utilize the actual trail, we sure try to. Otherwise, we find our way across the country as closely as we can, trying to get people up into some scenic viewpoints, beautiful riding, whether it's in the woods, through fields, across rivers, mountaintops. Each ride has its own personality, its own character. So we'll be putting some more information, my hopes are anyways, to visit with you on a regular basis about the Chief Joseph Trail Ride. You can send me your questions and I'd be happy to answer them. But today I'm going to answer more organizational things because people are starting to plan. Now that we have dates, people are starting to get their vacations requested and trying to figure out logistics, because not everybody has their own horse, and so they need to borrow one. Not everybody has an Appaloosa, and that is something that was allowed last year and should be allowed this year. We'll have to watch the Appaloosa Horse Club for verification of that, but it's my understanding that yes, we will be open to a limited number of non-Appaloosa breeds. This is an Appaloosa Horse Club ride. This is an Appaloosa ride. So we are trying to build our numbers, introduce more people to the ride, and we understand that not everybody can afford to go out and purchase an Appaloosa to take on a ride. And not everybody wants to lease their Appaloosa to somebody to take on the ride. So if you have your own horse that's not an Appaloosa, or if you have an Appaloosa that is not registered, there are options available to you. What I would encourage you to do is visit Appaloosa.com, which is the Appaloosa Horse Club's website. Go to Trail and Distance and scroll down to Chief Joseph Trail Ride. All updates regarding the rules of the ride will be posted there. That being said, if you are riding a different breed horse and you definitely want to go on the ride this year, I would encourage you, when enrollment opens, because it is not open yet, but when enrollment opens, then you want to make sure you get your enrollment sent in earlier rather than later, because there will be a limit to how many non-Appaloosas will be on the ride. If you follow our Facebook page, if you check in regularly with Appaloosa.com, you will see when registration or enrollment is open. We do make a big hullabaloo about it when it is available for registering on our Facebook page. And because we have our new 501c3, we'll be announcing it there as well. Now, if you don't have a horse, whether it's Appaloosa or not Appaloosa, we do have individuals who are willing to share theirs. I've had a mare that has gone on the ride, I think 6 years now, and I've never ridden her. I've had friends ride her. I've leased her to individuals who I haven't known. She does ride with me with my gelding because they're a bonded pair. Yeah. But regardless, there are many of us that have our extra Appaloosas we're willing to share. We use our Facebook page as a matchmaking site. So if you're looking for a horse, post early. A lot of these horses are rented out at the end of the ride the year before. For example, my mare has an indefinite reservation on her now. So I'm not really sure when she will be available again, because she has her rider. I do know others who have horses available to rent or who have in the past. So if you can't find a hookup, again, let me know. We can see what we can do to help you out. You want to make sure that the horse that you are leasing, ideally the owner is going to be on the ride with you so they can help you look after that animal since they know it the best. You want to make sure you have your contract figured out as far as what's expected of you, what's expected of the horse's owner, who's covering what costs. For me, I basically am just happy to get my mare on the ride and help another person get out there. So I basically have them pay the cost of getting her there. So what I usually will charge for is the health certificate, the Coggins test, the shoes and the pads. I shoe and pad my horses, and that'll be a topic later down the road. In the past, my riders have also helped me with fuel. So, and then they're responsible for their horse. You know, I oversee it because she's my horse and I want to make sure she's taken care of. But every person I've had ride her has been very good at making sure that her needs are met, that she's getting groomed properly, cooled off properly. She's not had, other than a little saddle sore one day, she's not had any medical issues because the riders watch out for her, and I do too. So you want to see what's expected of you as the rider if you're leasing somebody's horse. Make sure everything's written in a contract so that you've got something to fall back on and everybody understands. As the rider, obviously you'll be responsible for your fees. And there's a different schedule for fees, whether you're riding or not, and we can get into that later as well. So now you have your horse. Now what do you do? You have to remember that in camp, that horse is not allowed to be in a portable corral. There's been too many rides that have had portable corrals and had problems with them, so they are not allowed on the Chief Joseph Trail ride. We have something unique to the ride that I personally have not seen on any other organized rides I've been on. Maybe there are, and I just haven't been on those rides. But the Chief Joseph Trail ride provides a picket line. It is created by welded metal A-frames and really thick cable stretched between those frames, and every day our picket crew dismantles that picket line and reassembles it in the new camp. It is hard work. They are to be respected and commended for what they do. They're a vital part of our ride because they provide a place for us to tie our horses where they're safe. Occasionally in camps we are allowed to tie to our trailers. Occasionally in camps, we are allowed to high tie between trailers, high tie in trees. But you can't expect that at every camp. You can't bring a horse that doesn't tie to a picket or high tie, essentially. The tie is at chest level, so they can't step over the picket. And if you look at pictures, you'll be able to see what the pickets look like. Your horse needs to be able to stand tied, and you have to understand that they may not be able to be tied to your trailer because we've been in some pretty tight camping areas, so you can't count on that luxury. But they are going to be cared for. There is a veterinarian that goes on the ride with us, and there is a farrier that typically that's on the ride with us as well. So if you need any repair work done on your horse's feet, someone will be able to put a shoe back on if it tosses one. They are not there to put a full set of shoes on your horse if you come barefoot. They are there to catch you in case of emergencies. Same thing with the veterinarian. They're there to help you out if your horse gets into trouble. They have typically gone out on the ride with us, so they are there when we need them. So, enough about horses. Now you have your horses there. Now what do? You need to figure out your driving situation. You have a couple options, and I've done many of these options. My preferred is to bring my rig. I have a living quarters horse trailer. I prefer to camp within it. I don't like to be cold, and I don't like to get up and have to put cold clothes on in the early morning. I'm a wimp. So I like to glamp rather than camp. And so I bring my rig with me. However, I'm one person. So if I'm out riding, I'm not gonna be able to move my rig, because when the horses leave camp at 8 o'clock every day, camp packs up, and then they follow the camp crew to the next camp, where then they set back up again. So when we arrive into camp after a day of riding, then camp is ready for us, usually. And so we need somebody who's willing to drive our trailers to get them from point A to point B, and point B to point C, and C to D, etc. If you've got a spouse that doesn't ride, it works great, because then you can go out and ride and your spouse will move the trailer. And that's what I did for many years. And then, well, things happen and I don't have a spouse anymore. So I did some camping for a while. And so what happens if you camp, you bring your rig. On Sunday, you take your rig from arrival camp and move it to destination camp. And then a shuttle brings you back to arrival camp. And then you camp each day in a tent or out under the stars. It's been done. And the club will move your rig, your rig will not move your rig. The club will move your gear for you. So what I did is I got a big old tote it on wheels that they got from Home Depot. And all my stuff went into the tote. And then I was able to just put it to the space where they wanted us to put it. Pretty much if there's piles of camp gear around, they know that that's what they have to pick up. Sometimes they have had, in the past, they've had designated areas where the gear should be brought. And they will load your gear into their transport trailer, and then they'll move your gear from camp to camp to camp to camp. So when you arrive in camp, you can fetch your gear, put it wherever it is you want to set up a tent, and then you've got your place to stay for the night. And then the next day, you dismantle all your gear, you put it back in your tote, and then you leave it for the crew to pick up the next day. And so by the time we get to destination camp the final day, your rig will be there waiting for you, so you can camp in it that night and load it up and get your horse home that next day, or that night if you are leaving that day. So the last one, and the way I do it now, is I hire a driver. So that's what's happening on our Facebook page right now. We have a lot of matchmaking pleas for drivers out there. If you are going to hire a driver, you need to understand that that driver will have the same fees to participate as any other non-rider participant. So there's a schedule of fees. There's a fee for riders, there's a fee for non-riders, and there's a youth fee. Non-riders don't pay quite as much as a rider, because the riders are paying for the horse feed and those extras. So if you're hiring a driver, you need to pay their enrollment fees, which includes, if they're not already, their Appaloosa Horse Club membership and their enrollment fee. Some drivers will charge above that, and some drivers are just happy to be on the ride. So it's a nice way to get on the ride and have your fees paid and be able to enjoy the ride, see what it's about before you come with your horse next year. Or if you don't have a horse, it's a way to enjoy the ride and participate in the educational presentations at night, the dancing, the music, and then you have the day. Usually it doesn't take all day to move the trailers from one camp to the next. And once the trailer's in camp, for most drivers, your job's over. So you have the rest of the day to do what you want. If you want to get a fishing license and go fishing, go for a hike, take your dog somewhere, lay in a hammock, but lay on your lounger chair or put a blanket down on the grass and read a book. I mean, you can do whatever you want. There are some programs in camp to help you fill your time in. We've got a couple that have organized scavenger hunts, which are really fun. And then you can go swimming, usually where we're near a water hole. So there's lots of things that you can do as a driver to entertain yourself while the horses are out of camp. And then once the horses get into camp, then everybody enjoys the things that happen in camp. But you need to work out with whoever's hiring you, who's paying fees. It should be whoever's hiring you should be paying your fees. And then if you will charge anything above that. Some riders will ask a little bit more of their drivers. Some riders want water buckets to be filled, or hay to be hanging, or the trailer to be leveled, or whatever. So make sure that you understand what your duties will be as a driver, and what's expected of you. And the other way that people have gone on the ride and taken care of their driving situation is they've gone with a group of friends. And say on Monday, rider A stays in and they drive the rig and the rest of riders go out. Then the next day, rider B stays in and drives the rig and the rest of the riders go out. And then day 3, rider C stays in and drives the rig. And so they share the duties, and that way nobody's driving the rig every day. They're all getting out and playing on the trail. And then the rig's still getting moved and everybody has that luxury. And there's no extra fee because the riders already got their rider fee. They're just driving the rig one day. And so that's another way that it can work, so that you can share the costs and share the responsibilities and move your rig. And then you still have the luxuries of having your rig with you. So we have on the Facebook page a post that says to post here if you're looking for a driver, if you're looking for a horse, or if you have a horse, or if you would like to be a driver, that we can match make underneath that post. I'm not sure how well it's going to work. I just set it up tonight, and since I set it up, I'm seeing individual posts going on the page. So what I'd like to see, so we don't clutter the page up and so everything's in one spot, I'd like to see all those posts go under, or all the comment sections to be the matchmaking, and that the post is kind of the designated area for that. So we can see how that'll work. If we need to, we might set up a chat room just for drivers and a chat room just for riders, and see if we can make that work. Essentially, we just want to get as many of you out on this ride as we can. I wouldn't be doing this ride this will be my 20th year. You don't do it for that long if you don't have passion about what you're doing. And the ride needs riders in order to continue. And it's definitely worth continuing. So we want to grow. We want to introduce new people to this experience, and we want to help you get on the ride. If you are looking for more individualized conversation about this, then go ahead and send me a message, because I'm more than happy to talk about the ride and talk about logistics. So that'll be it for tonight, because we're almost 20 minutes into this, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to download this and how long I have. So we'll go ahead and call it quits for tonight, and I will try to do little blurbs throughout the next couple months to kind of let you know what it's all about and fill you in on how things are done. We still can talk to you about how about all the food and horse feed and care, and how to prepare, what to bring. There's lots of things to talk about. So probably next weekend I'll tackle another topic. If there's something specific you want to know about, let me know, and we'll just keep this going as long as people want me to. because if you don't want me to, I can shut up and not do it. But I thought it'd be a nice way to reach out to you. So until I see you guys on the trail, I hope that you are having a great winter. And for those of you who can be out there conditioning your horses, I hope that you're already doing it. For those of you who cannot, start planning, because we should be in some mountainous areas, and we'll want to have fit horses to traverse those. So until I see you guys next week, hopefully have a great week, enjoy yourselves, and happy trails.